DeMeco Ryans spoke to the media yesterday. I know it's Tuesday, but it was a busy day for me of traveling and unsubscribing from emails, all manner of things. So let's get it rolling. First question, how's old Nico Collins with his hamstring doing?
Yeah, Nico, he's in good spirits. Of course, with the hamstring, it takes a couple weeks for a hamstring, so we'll evaluate that, on a week-to-week basis to see when we can get him back.
So if you're watching this video, you likely already knew that or saw that soundbite. It's going to take a couple weeks at least. So we're not going to get Nico this week, and then it's week to week. Maybe I've just got too much PTSD from the Astros, but I don't like hearing Joe Espada say that somebody's feeling good. Remember Christian Javier and Jose Urquidy were feeling great, and then the next day you found out they were having Tommy John surgery? I would rather hear that a guy is really down in the dumps. Nico's actually quite morose, but his hamstring's fine. You can play really, really good football when you're morose. Been there, done that, but it's really hard to do with a bum hamstring. But I'm glad he's feeling good, I suppose. Next question, how about Christian Harris?
Not yet. We're still waiting on Christian. Christian is improving. He's doing well. We actually had Christian down on the sideline yesterday. It was just encouraging to see him down there, see his support, his energy that he brings to our team, and we're pulling for him to get back at the right time.
This is what I do not – I like this even less than hearing somebody's feeling good. I don't want to hear that a guy's presence on the sideline was a moral boost, because that feels like something you'd say about Dylan Horton when he was undergoing cancer treatment or something like that. I don't personally get upset about the team not revealing a lot of information about guys who have mystery injuries. It's frustrating, but I think sometimes you just flat out don't know. We love thinking like, oh, well, the team knows. They know exactly when he's coming back, and they just don't want to tell us. It's a lot murkier than that. Where they really need Christian Harris in those times when sometimes they've got to, I think they've got to be in their base defense. It's awesome that they're nickeling all the time and they've got guys flying around all over the place. But sometimes when offenses want to line up with heavy bodies on the field, you need heavier bodies to counteract them, or you just need to match personnel. And having Henry To'oTo'o, Azeez Al-Shire, and Christian Harris on the field, it's something that appeals to me right now, because it's obvious by playtime that the Texans don't feel awesome about any of the other linebackers. Next question was, what was your overall assessment of Blake Fisher getting his first NFL start at right tackle in replacement of Titus Howard?
Blake, I thought he did a really nice job of stepping in, and Blake didn't have much practice last week because he was dealing with the illness as well. So for him to step in, short practice, and step in and start for us and play the entire game, I thought he did a really nice job. Definitely some things to clean up. His first time out, though, I'm very encouraged by what I saw from him. And he has, of course, he'll improve and get better, but, man, he started off on the right foot.
I thought he showed definite improvement. He had some really good snaps in pass protection. He had a couple that weren't so hot. The run game is a work in progress, as it is for the entire offensive line right now. But the biggest thing that I'm looking for out of Blake Fisher that I think I saw was, for a lanky guy or for a taller guy, it's sometimes hard for them to really sink their hips and sink their pads and play with good power. I thought he looked more stout than he did in the first couple weeks of training camp. So it's been a good progression for him.
Do you expect Joe Mixon to return this week?
More injury yeah, do you expect Joe Mixon to return? It's a question that has to be asked, but do you expect that Joe Mixon to please come back? Christy Regan didn't say please. That's Seth Payne saying please come back.
For Joe and his injury, we'll still evaluate that week to week. We don't know as of right now. I can't give you that answer, but we'll see how Joe improves over the week. He's definitely been improving. Week to week, he's been improving. He's doing a great job attacking his rehab, so we'll see where he is as the week goes on.
Here's what you need to know about high ankle sprains. They suck. They really, really suck, because there's no amount of toughness or anything else that can overcome the fact that your foot just doesn't work right. All the tiny little spaces and compartments in your lower leg, if they're swelling there, it just shuts down the nerves. You're running around on a peg leg. You might as well be Forrest Gump when he was still wearing the braces, as opposed to the picture of masculinity that was Tom Hanks post-leg braces. Joe Mixon, okay. Is it an even trade, Joe Mixon or Nico Collins? In some ways, I think it is. I don't think Joe Mixon, if he were healthy this year, would be having the kind of year that Nico Collins is having. But in terms of, all right, being able to go out there and have a complete offense, Joe Mixon's ability to cover up for offensive line mistakes and still be productive if he's healthy, I think right now might actually be more of a shot in the arm than the presence of Nico Collins, which I'm sure somebody will take as me throwing shade at Nico Collins somehow. I don't care. I don't care. I cannot care about the misinterpretations of others anymore. I save that for X.
44 seconds left in the game, fourth quarter, third down. What goes into the decision to pass there? He gets CJ gets called for the intentional grounding. What goes into the decision to pass there versus run? And if you guys had completed it, did you plan to kick from that spot?
Good question, Cody.
Yeah, with that, we felt like they would zero pressure us. So, of course, you would like to say run the ball, but not trying to lose yards there. Felt like with the pass, we can get a quick pass there to the side, quick pass to Dalton there, but miscommunication on the route between Tank, Dalton, CJ, miscommunication at a critical moment in the game, not clean enough, not good enough for us offensively. Like in that moment, like we have to be able to execute much better, and that wasn't good enough.
Translation. Do you really expect us to run the ball when we need to run the ball? Like effectively run the ball? Did you see the 4th and short earlier? Did you see it? It's a good question by Cody. At that point in the game, if they'd gotten stuffed, it would have been a 55-yard field goal. And I trust, call me crazy, but I tend to trust Kaimi Fairbairn with a 55-yard field goal. Now, could they have gotten a 2 or 3 yard loss, especially on a zero blitz? Possible. And all of that goes back to, hey, it's still on the offensive coordinator and the offense itself that you got to be able to run the ball with more credibility than that. But it does at least make me feel good that the execution of the called play wasn't good. That ultimately falls back on Bobby Slowick too. Execution is what the offensive coordinator is supposed to do, not just call the plays. And that probably makes sense as to why CJ felt like it shouldn't have been intentional grounding, even though it definitely was. Because I think in his mind, look, the ball, there should have been somebody more in the vicinity right there, damn it. Question, how nice was it to see Dylan Horton, who recovered from stage 4 lymphoma, to play? And I was really surprised that he came back and played this quickly after being activated. How did he do, DeMeco?
Excited for Dylan. He stepped in, he set the edge really well, got after the quarterback. Dylan did a really nice job, man. What a... keep saying an awesome story, but he's an awesome young man. He's a pleasure to work with, pleasure to be around, just such a great spirit. Like, it's so encouraging and motivating to see him go out missing as much time as he did, but he was still able to come in and affect the game. Like, made a really nice play where he set the edge, got off a block, and then made a physical tackle on the running back. So it was one of the first plays I showed the team, and everybody, again, just clapping for him, excited for Dylan.
Yeah, and remember Dylan Horton is a guy that was a high school safety, moved to outside linebacker, like genuine outside linebacker, and then moved down to defensive end, and then in his final year ended up in college, played with his hand in the dirt as a true defensive end for the first time. So he was a bit of a developmental project to begin with. I haven't watched every single snap of his yet. I think he got 15 snaps in the game, but I'm going to do that and put a video out, and so look for that. But the greatest story just being, especially on a day where you had Barnett and Jerry Hughes out, it was all hands on deck, and it was just really cool that Dylan Horton was even a possibility or an option.
This, and I like to bring this up, rat poison.
Every week.
Hey. I got it's your fault. You brought it up, you and Saban, so I'm blaming you.
Okay, so real quick, rat poison is Saban's concept that, hey, when the media and everybody else is telling your football team all these really nice and positive things, they start to believe it, and they ingest it, and they eat it, and then all of a sudden, they get whatever rat poison does, makes them drink too much water until they bloat up and die. Metaphorically.
You just beat one of the best teams in the league. You held Josh Allen to 9 of 30, 130 yards. And you're going to face New England, who you're a big favorite against. Is this kind of like a rat poison danger zone?
No, it is not. I don't want to go too much there. No, I don't.
Is there some time though where they're getting praised? Because the rat poison, obviously, you're saying it's basically taking in the praise. Is this kind of one of those times where is it the same message? Is there like a little more intensity? How do you do that with the position you're in?
The famous coach once said, "On to New England." It's on to the next.
He never said on to New England.
No, don't hurt me about talking about Alabama right now. All right.
I think, honestly, the team, the players, the coaches, everybody seems to be a little bit frustrated that they're not operating at as high a level as I think they envision, which I think is a good thing. If it gets to a certain point, it could probably become almost just pressing too hard. But I feel like right now, I sense hunger. I sense kind of like a good greed for more. We're capable of more. We got to get more. So if anything, I don't think they're eating the rat poison. I think they're very aware that there are rat traps everywhere. And they're kind of like that old Looney Tunes cartoon, just tipping through the lions. There's traps. There's traps around here. How do you go about preparing for potentially two different quarterbacks, either Jacoby Brissett or Drake May this weekend?
For us, whenever you're preparing for the unknown, right, only thing we can prepare for is what we've seen on tape with the quarterback that they've had play over these first 4 or 5 weeks of the season. Now, the young guy gets in, we have to be prepared to adjust. So, of course, we'll go back and watch as much as we can on him from his preseason plays, but our focus would just be on structurally like what they do as an offense.
I know in New England, the people that don't want Drake May to start are basically saying you can't put a rookie there behind that offensive line. That he'll just get murdered and destroyed. Which makes me excited because we saw what happened to Caleb Williams behind an offensive line that was kind of sus. The Texans are going to be favored versus either quarterback. I like the prospect of facing a rookie and just making him feel like a rookie. I like destroying the hopes and dreams of young men and fan bases, okay? It's a petty side of me. Am I proud of it? No, I'm not. But I'm not going to try to stop. I'd have to stop watching sports. Vivat pettiness, as they used to say in Rome. Next question, where do you see Henry To'oTo'o in terms of his development, trusting his keys, all those types of things?
Henry has done a really great job. Henry had one of his better games this past week. He's playing physical. He's playing fast. Just all over the field. So encouraged with his growth and his improvement. Coach Davis has done a great job with helping his development.
Yeah, Henry To'oTo'o has probably been my favorite revelation of this season. He's just so much different athletically than he was last year. And he talked about it this summer that he said it, not me. Last year he was fat. This year he's not. You could see it in his cheekbones when he first showed up. And honestly, the first few weeks of camp, some of you will remember, I wasn't blown away by any like physical performance change in the first couple of weeks. It was only after we got into some of the preseason games and then certainly into the regular season where, man, all right, Henry To'oTo'o is moving differently. So I'm really excited about the prospect of Christian Harris coming back, and then the Texans maybe being able to have bigger guys out there, but who also still can move. So you're not always feeling like, well, if we got to have athleticism out on the field, so we got to be out there in nickel. Sometimes you can do it out of base too.
Yesterday, on Saturday, it came on the injury report that Azeez was dealing with an illness. For him to come back as quickly as he did and then nearly get 2 interceptions, just his resilience.
2 interceptions?
Nearly got back.
Yeah,
Nearly got
okay.
back interceptions. Just his resiliency and his ability to come back and make those plays.
Azeez, it was a valiant effort by Azeez to deal what he was dealing with. I can't imagine how he was feeling and what he was going through the night before the game. It was a tough spot for him. So, couldn't be more proud of him for stepping up, right, and going out, gutting it out for the team. And as I spoke about Rob earlier, it's the same for Azeez. It's the team first mentality. It wasn't about him. He didn't want to make it a big deal about him. He just wanted to go out and help the team. And he had some nice plays there for us. Wish he would have came down with one of those interceptions, but he had a really nice game for us.
I'll be honest, I was nervous as hell when Azeez missed that first tackle because I thought that was uncharacteristic of him. It was early in the game where we knew he was ill. I can't remember if we knew that he'd lost 10 pounds at the hospital the night before or anything yet, but he didn't look right. And then he went sideline to sideline the rest of the game. That's something that's good for younger players to see that. The leading by action, when it comes to playing through injury or illness, having guys on your team that are willing to play injured, that are willing to go out and play, not just play, but play well when you're sick, that sets a culture and an expectation that some teams simply don't have. There are a lot of teams where guys are making business decisions all the time. The young guys are always watching, and then they start making business decisions, which is, hey, look, it's great for your individual business, but man, this is a collective here. This is a consortium of business people that all act selflessly for the higher good, comrades. All right, I'm going to get cracking on this Dylan Horton video. click on it if you see it. Oh, and like and subscribe. Boom, 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 boom.